Hello everybody, Shadefire here, and welcome back to Subnautica. This is a What's Update, and we are checking out the Ghost Update, which adds another step to the story progression after hatching the Sea Emperor babies, as well as adds, of course, a new Leviathan, the name of the update, the Ghost Leviathan, which there are a decent number of spread out across the map, including in some zones that were previously kind of safe, like the Grand Reef. So, we're going to do the hatching sequence again because this update actually reset the primary containment facility, and I didn't really see a reason to start a new save for this update, even though I normally do for all of the updates, because the only thing we're really missing is 2 life pod exiting animations when you exit the life pod for the first time through the top door. As well as the bottom door. But aside from that, there's no huge terrain changes that would require a full restart. There's also a new sub-biome in the crash zone, the crash zone Mesas, which we'll check out, as well as probably the new Reaper Leviathan model. There's a higher detail model, since there are, of course, quite a few Reaper Leviathans in that area. So first, we're going to hatch these babies again, so that we can cure ourselves of the Carar virus. Because you can see we're still infected, and in the previous update you couldn't actually cure yourself using Enzyme 42. Huh? Oh dear. That's not ideal. So, jumping in the water there did not count as jumping in the water there.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Hold on, we can fix this. Oh, also the prawn has a new sitting animation when you get out on land, so that you can still kind of access the battery compartment, except it doesn't actually help that much because you still can't reach the batteries. But, you know, they tried. Alright, that splash is a good sound. It means we have successfully reset the water. That's a bug that's kind of been around for a long time in Subnautica and still hasn't been fixed. Anyhow, here's the expectant mother, and you can see we've got hatching enzymes, which are mysterious enzymes. So we're gonna pop these in the machine and send these babies on their way. And unlike before, they will actually go through the portal and eventually appear in a variety of spots around the map as juveniles. So, I guess just put this in here. That one was a bit bloody. And hopefully they'll drop us some balls of healing goo before they take off. The weird thing is, despite the facility resetting, I don't think any of the voice clips will reset because they're still in my databank. Yeah, they're already just taking off. So it's only the actual event itself. Also, the teleporters were still active, which is handy because, you know, otherwise I would have wasted a bunch of ion crystals. Alright, so here's our enzyme.
Performing self-scan. Vital signs
Welcome
normal.
aboard, Captain.
No remaining sign of bacterial infection.
And before we go through the portal to check on these babies, let's make sure all of my pings are turned off, because there is another fun bug that still hasn't been fixed, where all of your beacons will stop showing up after you go through a portal if there's any active. They might still break, even with them all disabled, but I've found that they haven't given me that trouble yet. And here they are, on the other side. Hopefully that Reaper down there doesn't give them any trouble. But yeah, so after a little while they will actually disperse, and each of them has their own kind of biome that they hang out in. They'll also be a little larger. So we might check up on them later, but we've got some more journeys to do. So now that we've cured ourselves of Carar, we can actually disable the gun here, which is a crucial step in escaping the planet. And I assume building the rocket will probably be in the next update. But again, we're making steps towards the final, you know, ending of the story. Okay, so while we're on the other side, we are going to go back to the Cyclops and make our way to the Lost River to check out the new Leviathans, but I guess while we're up here we could actually go see the new biome. Or, again, sub-biome, I want to say, because there's nothing actually new there. We are looking for the Mesas. Let's see, are my beacons going to show up? Of course they're not. So basically every time you use this portal you're going to have to reset your save. Not reset your save, but rather quit the menu and load back in. However, I do know where the Mesas are. They're all kind of located behind the Aurora's engine. So we've actually got a ways to go, so we'll probably just skip ahead here. Yeah, we have to go all the way behind the ship. Alright, so we should be coming up on the crash zone here. You can see there's the engines. And there should be kind of a cliff back here. Also, probably want to keep this defense system on for when that happens. So yeah, the Reaper has a higher detail model, which makes sense because it's the only one of the Leviathans that will actively get up in your face. So you'd think they want to look pretty. Not sure if he's actually seen me yet. Also, I think the Reaper is actually probably still the nicest looking of the three, and it's definitely the best animated. I don't think he's actually paying attention to me. I think he's going after fish. And I think he just sunk into the mountain, which, you know, you do your thing, Reaper. He hasn't made the... Oh, there it is, I was gonna say. He hasn't made the aggressive roar that he does when he's coming after you. He's coming for me now. They'll kind of circle around. It's hard to tell how higher detail the model is. I mean, we get a pretty close look here. But yeah, I really like the way the Reaper's design is. Might have just heard another one. There is quite a few Reapers in this area. Well, he's gonna bugger off for a little bit. Or just kind of hang out behind that rock and pretend I can't see him. Alright, anyhow. The Mesas are just around this kind of area. another one. I wonder if I can hit him with a vortex. I missed. I think I'm actually a little too close to the Aurora for the Mesas. Yeah, they might be just over here. Again, I wish I could use my beacons for this, but I really don't want to reload. No, this looks like void territory. Yeah, this is right on the edge here. No, actually, I'm wrong. This is one of the Mesas right here. But yeah, you can see there's just little spots where there's actually some flora and some life here. And some bone sharks, unfortunately. Let's see, there's my beacon here. There are 6 of these mesas, and they are just little spots like this. I mean, some of them are bigger. There's one that's almost big enough to put a base on, but there's also a Reaper that hangs out between it and another one. I think it's this mesa here that's the larger one. But yeah, they're just little spots of greenery in what before was just essentially nothing but sand and bone sharks. So while it's a shame there isn't any new stuff in this, air quotes, biome, it's just nice that they are continuing to fill in these less detailed areas with stuff like this and the crag field. Alright, so that's it for the mesas, and I guess the Reaper. I suppose if I wanted to get a real close-up, I could pop out with the stasis rifle and try to freeze him. Is that the Aurora there? Oh, Jesus. Ah, bone sharks. They really followed me all the way up just so they could ram me out of the air like that. There's 3 of them. Anyhow, before we head back to the deep, I'm going to head by the base because there's also another object that has received a new model. One that has been pretty shitty looking for the entire release of Subnautica. Alright, so we stopped back here at home base, and we're gonna check out the new model. Also, I guess I didn't fully explore this little fella here.
Oh god! Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome back to Subnautica.
No, I can't get rid of him. Otherwise, Georgie the Gorgie here, and I can't remember Ensign's name. Ah, Ensign Kaplan. Right, that was his name. The 3 of them are quite a pair, and it would be rude of me to break them up just because one of them is questionable. Anyhow, the new model is for the power transmitter. This little fancy fella here, which for the longest time has been just a fuck ugly diamond, essentially, just a long skinny diamond. And now it actually has a proper model, with textures and everything. Isn't that nice? Alright, so I think that's the majority of our surface explorations complete, so we're going to head back
Welcome
down
aboard, Captain.
to the primary containment facility and drive the Cyclops up to the Lost River to check out the adolescent ghost Leviathans.
Caution.
And then
blood nutrient levels decreasing.
I guess I'll kind of make my way
Intake recommended.
back up here and we'll check out the adult ghost Leviathans and then shut down the quarantine platform. And now we've returned to the primary containment facility, which on the way I noticed the babies had already dispersed. I'm gonna try to find my way to the Lost River from here. I should have a marker for it at least. think this is our way out. And then from here, we're gonna head to Lost River. So I did load out to the menu and back, so our beacons will actually work. And hopefully I can follow my navigation back to the Lost River, where we can check out the new fellows, as well as a new tunnel that leads from the Lost River up to the surface, without having to go all the way down through the Grand Reef. Which is nice, because having to do that same route every time they added something new down here, oh, this is not the way out, was a bit of a pain in the ass. Also, supposedly, they've made some improvements that are supposed to increase frame rates up to 9%. However, it seems like what they've really done is just made it so everything pops in at a farther distance, or a closer distance rather, like we saw with the Reaper popping up right in front of me, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good trade-off. Alright, so there is the Sea Dragon we're gonna have to worry about.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
And they've made some improvements to the Cyclops, including removing some of the tedium. While we didn't actually see my journey down here in the last video because I had to cut it because I forgot to turn on my microphone like an idiot, traveling in the Cyclops is a big pain in the ass because now it is a huge aggro magnet and everything will just suicidally ram into it even if it's like 10 times their size, specifically bone sharks. So they've made it so that bone sharks won't attack the sub anymore, as well as a few of the other medium predators, which is good because it means you don't have to keep getting out to repair minor damage. Also, they've added the lava larvae, the little grubs that'll stick to your sub and suck the batteries. They actually have indicators now on your damage hologram here, so if we hit any, I'll know where they are. Alright. Let's spin up the engines and get out of here. The other major change is that both the shield and the silent running mode are not abilities anymore. They're just constantly on, draining battery until you turn them off.
Engine powering
Which,
up.
I mean, especially for silent running, that makes sense, because why would, you know, a quieter mode be a temporary ability? And of course, there are people complaining because, oh, they're making it too easy. I want a challenging underwater survival game. But, I don't know. I don't really equate tedium with challenge. And Sea Dragon probably will leave us alone if he's all the way over there. Oh, it didn't even kill him. So Fat Hole is over here, and that should lead us up and out into the main chamber. I don't know if these lava lizards will attack our sub. I think they will shoot little fireballs at us, but they don't seem nearly as aggressive as bone sharks. Really, I feel like they should maybe just turn down the bone shark aggression a little bit, because they've always been, like, super aggressive. And it wasn't mentioned in the patch notes, but it seems like they added a much more mechanical sound for the warpers, who... he won't even attack us now, I think, because I'm not infected anymore. But let's see if I can at least get his sound to play. It makes sense, since they are essentially just, you know, machines. Oh, there's the other Sea Dragon. No, there he goes. They usually make the sound when they warp in. Oh, hello. Are you gonna make the sound? Yeah, that sound. I'm pretty sure that's new with this update. but it's not mentioned in the notes, so it might have been from the last one. I just didn't notice. Alright. Carrying on. So he will probably give me trouble because he's right there. I could deploy a decoy beacon. I can see there's a magma ray infected with Carar there. Okay, there's Lava Castle. Where is Lost River from here? This way. Sorry about that, Warper. Oh, something's ramming into me. Probably not the sea dragon, though. I'm pretty sure we would know if he was smacking us around because the whole sub would roll. Alright, I think the most exciting part of our journey through the lava zone is probably complete, so I think it's safe to say we can skip ahead a little bit. And here we are, back at the Lost River.
Caution. Dehydration detected.
And there's the big old tree. Apparently, that big jelly thing in the tree is actually a ghost Leviathan egg. So let's see if there's a scan that says that. Yeah, right there. Wrapped around a number of unhatched eggs, ghost Leviathan. Eggs are as old as the tree. So, the scale for these eggs is maybe a little off, because obviously this is way bigger than the Sea Emperor eggs, and the Sea Emperor is the largest creature.
Vital signs stabilizing.
But the implied life cycle of the Sea Leviathan is that they are born here, they mature in the Lost River area, and then move their way up to the surface, where they live in the Blood Kelp Zone and the Grand Reef, and then they've also added them to the Void, but I think their existence there is kind of semi-canon, since the Void itself is not completely in line with the lore. I mean, ostensibly, the explanation for the Void is that, you know, the area that the game's map takes place in is the only place that has life, because Carar has kind of killed everything else, and the only thing that's keeping this stuff alive is the enzyme-infused peepers released by the Sea Emperor into the ocean through the pipes. And so the Void is kind of the extent of that cure's reach. Okay, so there are a few juvenile ghost leviathans here, including one in the Ghost Forest, which, if I remember, is this way. And as we head through the junction up to the... I was going to say the Koosh Zone, but I guess it's not called that anymore. It's the Bulb Zone now. Alright, yeah, here's the Ghost Forest, so we should see one of them here. And he'll probably attack our sub. Also, Ghost Forest, not a great place with the Cyclops. Kind of a lot of things you have to worry about hitting. It's really a shame that I didn't show off this area in the original update that it was added, but I totally missed it. Hold on. We can unstick ourselves from this situation. You're gonna get run over if you don't move. Okay. spine eels, which I guess are now called river prowlers. There he is. And he's coming right for me, isn't he? So one thing I've noticed with these Leviathans, or specifically the Ghost Leviathans, is that their animation is kind of janky. So that might get smoothed out, but it might also just be that they have a less smooth method of locomotion than the Reaper Leviathan. Because they sort of like convulse forward when they move. And you can see he's picking a fight with the eels.
Engine powering down.
Let's get a closer look, shall we? If I don't get eeled to death. Though with the Sea Glide here, we should be fast enough to... Wow, there's a lot of these guys here. Also, where did our Leviathan go? How do you lose a giant predator? He might have sunk into the wall too, they tend to do that. Ghost Leviathan? Anywhere? Anywhere? Huh. Well, we may have lost him for good, because I don't know where the hell it would have went. Yes, oh, there he is. Again, for some reason the short-range pop-in seems to most severely affect large creatures. Pretty cool looking though, how he's got that sort of translucent outer skin and then more solid inner skin. He's trying to get his mouth on me, but... Oh, no, he's giving up. So you can see, he's large, but he's not that large because he's only a juvenile. I think the adult is twice as big. Not particularly threatening, though. I don't know. Again, I think of the three aggressive Leviathans, the Reaper is still the best kind of scary, huge monster, even though it's actually the smallest of the three. Because, like, the Sea Dragon is just kind of big and doofy looking, and then this thing's kind of just cool and mysterious looking. But the Reaper is both familiar and creepy with its oarfish body and multiple eyes. That was an interesting noise. He didn't even do that much damage. I mean, I'm wearing the reinforced dive suit. But still. And there he goes. Into the wall. Alright. So yeah, that's the baby Ghost Leviathan. Well, not baby, but the semi-grown. So we'll also check out the adult, which is, I think, twice as big? Almost twice as big? I almost feel like the actual reason that they included a juvenile in this zone is because the Ghost Leviathan was originally designed for the Lost River. It appears in one of the early kind of concept images, but I think they realized that a full-size Leviathan would not actually fit into how big Lost River is, because, I mean, it's not actually that big, it's just a bunch of tunnels. So, like, a fully sized one would just get stuck on these trees non-stop. So I think that's why they added smaller ones in here. So they could still have a Ghost Leviathan appear in this area, but not have it be completely broken. And now we begin our slow journey up to the surface. As I try to remember if I've even marked the junction. It probably doesn't help that I keep using shorthand for these things, hoping that I will remember them. Lost River Warp Cache, Blood Kelp down, Lost River, Warp Cache. I wish I could remember what L7 stood for. I think Ghost Town is where I am right now. Oh no, sorry, this is where our adult is. Yeah, I don't think I marked the junction, so definitely have to skip ahead a bit while I try to find it. I just know it's somewhere off of this chamber. Alright, so while I actually meant to go to the junction, I ended up taking the wrong exit from the Lost River and ended up at the Blood Kelp. Hopefully this is actually where we want to be to see the adult ghost Leviathan, so I guess it worked out in the end. So I should be just down here. 50,000 creatures used to live here. Now it's a ghost town. So this particular Leviathan hangs out in one of the Blood Kelp
Emergency.
zones.
Severe dehydration detected.
I
Seek
should probably take
fluid
care of that
intake
before we
immediately.
get down here.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Maybe grab a snack. Alright, so unlike the juveniles, obviously this one's going to be a fair bit bigger, but it doesn't seem to be more aggressive. It'll still attack us, but... Okay, should be hanging out just around here somewhere. Though, like the other Leviathans, it might not pop in until we get really close. Also, I like the new voice clip they added for this biome. I don't know if this is from this update or from the last one. Let's see.
This ecological biome matches 7 of the 9 preconditions for stimulating terror in humans.
Alright, nothing on the radar yet. Well, they can't have gotten far because they don't have a very wide patrol zone. Unless he tried to attack something, in which case he might have... Oh, never mind, there he is. There he very much is. Alright, let's turn the shield on. So it might seem not that much larger because we're in the Cyclops. Well, maybe up close you can tell. Should we get a closer look, though? Also, the shield will stay on even if you get off the helm, so you have to make sure to turn that off if you don't want to drain all your power, but we're going to leave it on for now. So yeah, it's fairly big. It's, I believe, the second biggest creature now. I think statistically it says that the sea dragon is bigger, but I think this guy's longer. Got a nice spooky scream. So here you can kind of see why Leviathans aren't that dangerous if you have a Sea Glide. As long as you stay close to them, they can't turn sharply enough to really attack you. And, oh, thought he was going to clip into the ground there. I'm going to get this scan. Come on. Stay still. You can like kind of scan him in the middle too, so I have to keep chasing him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, mean, he's trying, but not trying too hard. Oh no. I might have just made a mistake. Alright, didn't take that much damage because of the reinforced dive suit. Come on, you bastard. Alright, got the scan. Let's get out of here. I don't know if we're faster than him in a straight sprint. I'm pretty sure he caught us and just missed. Alright.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
That was fun, but now it's time to boogie. I'm curious how far he'll chase us. Actually, if I want to get out of here, I should probably hit emergency
Mass
speed.
flagged. Emergency speed. Warning. Calculating.
Looks like we lost him, but where did I end up? Can't stay on a head flank too long or the engines will literally catch on fire.
Warning. Engine overheat. Ahead standard fire detected.
Ah, shit. Oh, looks like the ghost is still chasing us. Well, this is gonna get interesting. No need to panic.
Warning. Fire detected.
Yeah, you don't say. And we don't need the heat charger right now. Turn on fire suppression.
Fire neutralization system active. Fire extinguished. Air scrubbers initiated.
So my concern here is that I fled into the void, and if you stay in the void, it will keep spawning ghost leviathans. So I don't want to hang out here. Just gonna try to find the Aurora to align myself. Well, that's concerning. I may be a little lost. Alright, well, okay, there is the blood kelp down there. Also, I should probably fix these holes before we head out. Well, that was a little more exciting than I thought it would be. Alright, so next up, we're going to head to the quarantine platform and do the story event to shut down the gun. Can I not fix that hole? Oh, we didn't take too much damage there. So now I should be able to find my way to the mountain. Well, who's this? Looks like we found one of the sea emperors who have grown extremely quickly. I didn't actually know he was here. Just happened to notice him through the camera as I was going by. And where did he go? Ah, I didn't expect the juveniles to be that big. It's only been like maybe 2 in-game days. Can I scan you? Nope. Well, that's cool to see him swimming around here. I think this is the blood kelp guy. Anyhow. Alright, there's the gun dead ahead. And this time we're actually going to use the moon pool for the Cyclops, which I didn't really do in the update where this was first added. And I don't think our Reaper down there should give me trouble. He never usually comes this high up. Supposedly there are 6 Reapers, but I don't know. I've never seen any other ones in this area. Then again, I don't really hang around in other parts of this area. Okay, gonna be a bit of a tight fit to get through the door. This Cyclops won't turn on a dime. Oop. Perfect. I almost slammed into the wall. Hopefully I remembered to actually open the doors in here. After all, for the story progression, you don't actually have to come here to not successfully activate the gun. Or deactivate the gun, rather. No, that's the portal. Not sure I actually remember where that portal goes anymore. I guess I didn't open the main gate. So now that we're not infected, we should be able to shut off the gun. Some eerie noises this thing made. So I wonder if now that it's shut down, if it all like folded up.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All
Also,
systems
story-wise,
online.
the only step left after this is to actually build the escape shuttle And you get the blueprints for that from the communications room in the Aurora. And that stuff has been in the game for a bit, but you can't actually build it. Like, even if you get those blueprints and actually select the options to build it from a vehicle construction bay, it doesn't actually appear, I don't think, but I think the idea is that you'll build it on this island. And that'll pretty much be the completion of the story. And it's all creepy and dark now. And is that the barrel right there? Yeah, it looks like it just sort of folded over. And of course the Aurora, still on fire. Alright, well, that is the majority of the stuff added in this update. Aside from the corridor, which I guess we can check out as well before we finish off here, since it is fairly nearby. Alright, I believe this is the place. Turns out it was harder to find again than I had thought it would be, since it is on the border of the mountains in the Kush zone. Unfortunately, I kept falling into the void instead of finding this hole. But you can tell you're in the right place once you start to see the... not jelly rays. I forget their name for the moment. Are they called ghost rays, I believe? But yeah, this pretty much goes down from the surface all the way down to the Lost River in kind of a straight tunnel. And like a lot of the Lost River, it's pretty nice looking, you know, when it actually pops in. As it's doing very slowly here. I don't know if they're ever actually going to be able to fix that. I mean, they kind of can't put it into full release without fixing that, but at the same time, I think they will anyway. Because, like, a lot of the future patch notes just have, like, optimization with a question mark. I don't know if the river prowlers will attack our sub. I think they will. But yeah, as we go down here, we'll come to this big kind of drop where this adolescent hangs out. And this will actually get us down into the Lost River. I should probably turn on the shield again. Oh well.
Warning, creature attack.
Oh, oops, I forgot this also goes even further down. Yeah, sorry, that doesn't drop into the Lost River, that drops us from the Lost River into the lava zone.
Warning, external hull damage detected. Warning, creature attack.
I might be going backwards here, or this might be the way to the Lost River. He's still coming after us. But as you can see, the Cyclops is certainly not the invulnerable fortress that it once was. However, it's also not the creature magnet that it was in the last update. Okay, this is why I couldn't find this tunnel from down here, because I was looking in the wrong area. I was looking in the Ghost Forest when I should have been looking over here by the Disease Research Facility. Anyhow, I think that will do it for this update of Subnautica. Next update, we'll probably get some of the shuttle stuff, some shuttle building, and that'll be neat. Though I don't know if it'll have the actual ability to launch the shuttle. I don't know if we're going to get any more creatures before the 1.0 release. Because it looks like they're kind of planning to keep supporting this after launch with, you know, new areas or whatever. But I really hope they figure out some sort of optimization scheme, because I'm not really noticing the sort of improvements that they hinted at in this update. Stuff still pops in at surprisingly short distance, and the frame rate doesn't seem to stay any steadier, even with that reduced sort of pop-in distance, so I don't know what they're gonna do. Anyhow,
Welcome aboard, Captain.
I've been
All
Shadefire.
systems online.
This is Subnautica's Ghost Update, and I hope you'll join me next time for the next update. Until then, you folks all take care.